Everyone, welcome to Art Chats. I'm Emily Jaleski, and if you're new to Art Chats, it's a weekly live series where I have discussions here on Instagram about subjects like self-care for creatives, the evolution of an artist voice, and learning to be vulnerable in sharing your work and gifts. Today I am working on repacking my art supply bag for when I'm traveling or in the car, wherever. I'm heading back to Sarasota this weekend to visit my mom and my dad, so I need to kind of figure everything out. It's still a mess from the last couple times I've traveled. Back in May, I went and traveled to Sarasota for an art workshop that I taught, and then in June I was back in Sarasota to spend a few days with my dad. Both of those visits required a more extensive list of supplies. I brought a whole bunch of paint, things for the workshop, anything I thought I might need, backups, extras, and then when I was with my dad, we were kind of at his house just having a creative retreat, so I brought a whole bunch of stuff again. This trip is just for the weekend, so I don't need nearly as much stuff. And so I'm looking at everything. I've pulled it all out so I can downsize and look at what I have in there and see if I really need it or not. While I'm doing this and talking, I would love to hear what your guys' favorite art supplies are. And if you already have an art bag, what do you keep in it? Leave a comment and let me know, and then maybe at the end I'll be able to read back through some of them if anyone has any ideas. So the first thing I usually bring with me, let me just backtrack here for a second. A lot of this depends on where I'm going and how long I'll be gone, but the one thing I always bring is my brush roll. And there's a funny story behind this. It's handmade. You can see here I've got all my brushes in there. It was a gift from my mom, and it was just it was kind of recycled from the canvas tote bag I used as a Girl Scout when I was a little girl. So it's just a fun little kind of nostalgic kind of thing. But you can get something similar. You can make it yourself if you want. I'm sure you can find a pattern online, or you can DIY it. You can also get them at Blick, Amazon, Peg and All, if you're familiar with them. They carry something similar, and lots of other places have them. If you search on Etsy, you'll find a whole bunch of different results. So in there, I kind of showed you a little peek, but I have brushes. I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see this. I've got brushes, mechanical pencil, charcoal, my Marks All pencil, some colored pencils in there. There's not any in there at the moment. And there's a couple things stuck, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. But the main thing is a couple brushes of different sizes, small, medium, large. I also have my favorite Sakura Micron pens, and I usually just carry one size with me. I have others, but that's just kind of a medium general size, and if you wanted you could bring more. I also have a Sharpie. This one's gold because that's just what I grabbed and put in there. And what else? Yeah, my Marks All pencil. There's charcoal in there too. But you know, basically anything you want. I also have some paper towels that I just kind of, you know, I try and keep things a little bit organized, so rather than just balling them up and shoving them in there, I roll them up with my brush roll. and then I can just reuse them until they are so soaked they don't take any more liquid or covered in paint or whatever. I also have my sketchbook, and this one is from Arteza. I have used the same kind of one for a couple years now, and I like it just because of its size. It's easy to carry around, it's portable, it's small, and the paper inside is pretty nice. I like it a lot. You can buy them individually or in a set of 3. And I just get them on Amazon. The next thing I have is, let's see. This is just a kind of, it's full right now, and I'm losing stuff as I'm talking. But this is just like a little canvas zip bag. You could use a makeup bag. You can find them again from Blick, Amazon. Pagan All has some really nice ones. Etsy, probably any craft supply store. This one is from Hobby Lobby, and I think it only cost me a few dollars. But in there, I've got, let me see, just a daily date stamp, and I don't really use that, so I'm going to take that out for now. I've got some watercolors, and this is just Winsor Newton travel palette. There's not a whole bunch of different colors in there. It's your standard prepackaged thing, but it's fine. I also have another watercolor palette with watercolors that I have, watercolor pans that I've filled myself, so I can have some additional color options. Let me see, I've got a glue stick if I want to do collage or if I need to glue anything in or together. I've got masking tape, you know, if I want to try and make a nice edge on a page. I've got a couple clips here, and you can just kind of use any kind. These, I don't even remember where I got them from, but you can get them anywhere pretty much. I've got a manual pencil sharpener, and this one's not fancy, but it does the job. And I think the last thing I've got in here is just a small pair of scissors in case I need to trim a page. If I have a tube of paint that is clogged and need to get unstuck, or if I have a specific project I'm working on, sometimes, you know, this is not necessarily part of my regular bag, but sometimes I'll bring stitching with me, so scissors are really helpful for that. Another thing I sometimes bring is just, you know, certain specific colors of paint in travel bottles. And this is actually just a travel toiletry kit that I got from Target. The little miniature bottles that they provide for shampoo, I actually filled them up with gesso. There's an empty water bottle here that you can use as a mister spray. And then I also include just some, you know, this is just a white paint. I also include black paint, gesso or white gesso or clear gesso, a couple small tubes of paint in specific colors if I know what palette I'm going to be working in. What else? Yeah, so this travel toiletry kit is really useful, especially if I'm flying, because I can pack them separately. It just, you know, I think I have heard of other artists taking things like that on the plane, but for me it's just easier to not have to worry about it, and then if it's in my luggage, it's in this sealed bag, so hopefully it doesn't explode all over my stuff. And I also tape over all the lids too, just in case. I really don't want all my vacation clothes to get ruined by white gesso getting smeared everywhere. Then a couple of miscellaneous things that I often bring. I'm a Post-it person, so I like Post-its, just something to have. Some scratch paper if I have an idea, whether it's related to art or not. I can scratch this down. Earbuds, if you want to listen to a podcast, or if you are someone that likes to have music on while they're creating, that kind of gets you, it's part of maybe your normal ritual that you can bring with you from your day to day that gets you in the mood to create. Let's see. So now I've taken everything out to show you. I'll have to put it back in. Paints, watercolors, Post-it notes, a couple tubes of paint, whatever colors you want. And then, for me, this is generally what works. And the little canvas bag ends up being about the same size as my art journal here. So I can carry them together if I want, or I also have just another bag that I can put those things in that makes it a little easier to handle, rather than having to juggle multiple separate items. They all just go in there, and it's real easy to carry around. This has been really useful too, and this was also made by my mom for me. She's awesome. What else? A couple other things you could consider would be some kind of mark making tool. If you can get creative with that, you can scratch in with the opposite end of your paintbrush, a mechanical pencil. You can collect a stick from wherever you are if you want to use that, or bring a skewer with you. I usually have one of those as well. So just look around you, see what you have available, and get creative, and think of all the different things you could use to make marks in your art. Other ideas are a regular ballpoint pen. It's not fancy, but you don't need fancy to make art. You don't need fancy supplies. You can just, you can create and draw even with just basic stuff. I already told you about a Sharpie. If you are someone who likes to work from a reference image, or if you have a YouTube video or an online class that you're working with, and you want to work on and practice specific lessons, you might want to have your phone or a tablet of some kind. A charger is important. A water cup for your any kind of paints, not just watercolors. Graphite pencils, let me see, water brushes, so then you don't even actually need to worry about other brushes and finding a water source. Q-tips, eraser, whether that's a click eraser or a kneadable eraser, or even, I was going to say a mechanical eraser, because I know some people use those, but I don't know actually how much space they take up. So depending on how much room you have available, that might actually not be a great option. You could bring gel pens, a straight edge, a palette for mixing colors. Those are all just a whole bunch of different ideas, but really the thing to consider is your own creative practice. So what materials do you use? What is your favorite thing? What do you gravitate to, and what do you use all the time? So those are things I would consider bringing with you. In my case, I have an artwork space here, but a lot of the time I find myself just working from the actual art kit, my art bag, because those are the things I use most. If you wanted to buy duplicates and have a bag that you could keep in the car, if you, if your child has sports practices or music practices, if you are waiting in the car line to pick them up at school, if you are at work on your lunch break and you want to create something, it's just a really good way to have the stuff with you that you need so that you don't have any excuses. There's no reason why you can't create, and then you're also using the time you have available instead of using it or wasting it, rather scrolling on your phone or just playing a game on your phone. I'm definitely guilty of that. Happens. But there's a lot of different ways that we could use our time better to practice as artists, to grow as creatives, to plan ahead, to prepare a color scheme or composition for a painting that you're working on, or that you're about to be working on. So a couple other things to consider as you're putting all this together. Where are you going to be working? Will you be indoors or outdoors? Will you be working in your vehicle or a confined space like that? Or will you be out hiking? In which case you'd need to consider things like, size and weight. Or are you setting up a table, like a home away from home art studio if you're on vacation? And how long will you be gone? Well, is it just a few hours? Is it an overnight? Or is it a trip, like an actual it could be a vacation, or you could be flying home to visit family, or whatever it is. But if you are going to be gone for an extended amount of time, you might want more or different supplies. Like I said before with the hiking, how much does all this weigh? And how much room do you have? Because this is, this little brush roll, and I don't even know what I just did with my bag. I haven't moved, but it's missing. Anyway, this is what I generally bring with me. It's a very limited amount of supplies. Could I add more? Absolutely. But that's just kind of not practical, and then I would be like a snail or a turtle carrying all my stuff on my back, and that's just not necessary because most days I'm coming home after the workday anyway. Another thing to think about, where do you live? And I ask that because if all this stuff is going to stay in your vehicle, that's fine, but it's also important to think about things like what kind of temperatures is it going to be exposed to. Here in Florida, I don't like really to leave anything in my car during the summer. During the day, even with, the windshield screen, it gets really, really hot in there. And I don't know exactly how temperature affects your paints and supplies, but I do know that very cold temperatures and very hot temperatures do something. I'm not a scientist, but maybe it changes the chemical structure or composition. But I've left art supplies in the car before during the hot summer months, and they just aren't quite the same. So I would recommend not leaving art supplies or paint or anything like that in your vehicle during the summertime. I live in Florida, so I can't really speak to winter. I don't know how they fare in the cold. So that's my list for right now. And I've got most of my supplies ready to go. I'll be out of town for a couple days, and hopefully this will be enough. Lucky for me, both of my parents are artists, so if I forget something, I can probably just borrow it from them. Thanks for being here with me tonight, guys. Tune in every week here on Instagram at 6:30 Eastern Time for these art chats. They're every week. I'd love to see you there. If you ever have an idea of something you want me to talk about or a question that you want me to address, just send me a DM and let me know. I'm always looking for new ideas. I've been doing this for over a year now, and sometimes coming up with new content it is a bit of a challenge. If you would like to sign up for my monthly newsletter and get information about what I'm working on behind the scenes, new art coming out, previews of my inspiration and that kind of thing, you can go to emilyjalewski.com. That's my website, and there will be a pop-up right there when you navigate to that page, and it'll prompt you to see if you want to sign up. So go ahead and sign up, and you'll also get a free download of an art print, and then you'll be in the loop. So thanks again for joining me. I will see you guys here same time next week. Have a great week. Bye.